Welcome to Dash of Donita. Thank you for watching us, and today is going to be my first restaurant feature. What better place to have it at than Smith Butcher and Grill Room in Salcedo on HV de la Costa, right?
Yep.
Okay, and so with me is Chef Tom Hines, who's from the UK, but very Filipino already because he's been here almost half his life.
That's right, yeah, 23 years, so and still standing.
So do you eat balot?
Absolutely.
Oh, yuck. I guess he's more Filipino than I am. So your restaurant has been around for about 3 years already, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, basically what we decided to do was to get away from the run-of-the-mill steakhouses in the Philippines. There's a lot of beef out there in the world, and yeah, so we wanted to bring what the world has to offer. It's like wine these days. You know, before people only used to use or used to drink French or Australian wine, or sometimes Italian or Spanish, but now you can drink wine from Vietnam. You know, drink wine from New Zealand,
even
Chile,
Indonesia.
I figured out, I knew that there's more to offer as well in the beef world than just Australian or US. So I wanted to bring that to the Philippines.
But before that, I thought we'd start with the wine room.
Yeah.
So this is chilled, right?
Well, you have to keep wine, as with anything in F&B, at the right temperature. Okay. So white wine should be kept in the chiller, all right? And you can keep red wine at the aircon temperature. Okay. You can chill red wine, but it's not really advisable. The more temperature stress you put on wine, the more you can change the characteristics of that wine as well. So whatever you do, be consistent.
Okay. And then, if you're going to choose, well, if you're going to eat red meat, red wine, fish, white.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a little reason why behind that. A lot of people know that, but they don't know why. With red wine, it generally has a lot of tannins involved. Okay. And the tannins kind of, you know, when you drink red wine and you get that dry feeling in the mouth, that's the tannins. So that feeling actually compensates well with fat. Yeah.
So it cuts the fat.
So it cuts the fat, it helps you through your digestion, and it helps you cleanse your palate better. So that's the reason why red. And for white with fish, fish is high in acid, right? It's more acidic. So like when you squeeze lemon on a fish,
yes, okay.
you gain this same sort of scientific movement in your mouth with the acidity in the fish. So yeah, so that's where it comes from.
Interesting. Okay, so I was told that when you order wine, you swirl it around because you want to incorporate some air into it, let it breathe.
Yeah.
And then you look at the
legs.
No, the fingers.
Legs. Well, I like legs, okay, and I'm going to stick with the legs, okay?
Okay, so what is that supposed to do? I always thought in the beginning it was an indication of whether it was a good wine or not, but apparently it's not. So.
No, that is where you can gauge the alcohol content in the wine.
Okay.
So maybe you can gauge how much fun you're going to have that evening, or you know, if it's too strong for you and might give you a headache or a hangover, or you know, whatever it is that you're used to for wines. So most wines come in start about 10%, 11%, 12%, 30%, 40%, and so those are the strengths.
Okay, and then the most popular types of wines, starting with reds, would be like the light ones would be Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir, and then you go up to Cabernet Sauvignon, then you go to Merlot, Shiraz, and then you can go into your blends, where wineries mix certain grapes together to give a special flavor. So yeah, you can go on and on and on.
And there, would you say, like, let's say if I was going to order a Cabernet, is there a particular country where it's most popular from, or not necessarily?
Wine is becoming like fashion. You know, so, and first and foremost, what depends on a good wine is what kind of year it's had. So was the weather good? Was it raining enough? Was it picked at the right time? Was it bottled at the right time? Was there enough sunshine? These are all the secret formulas that nobody can control. You know, we can't control the rain, we can't control the sun. And of course, wine coming from different parts of the world. Some countries have better weather than others, and different parts of the year. So yeah, it's really, now is a very exciting time, like I said, for wine.
Well, as someone who studied coffee, they tell us that when you pick your beans, you'll get hints of, like, let's say chocolate, and a lot of it has to do with the environment, right? So if you're growing beans and then you're planting them next to, let's say, a cacao farm, then it's going to have notes or hints of like chocolate and
Absolutely.
Same thing with wine, right?
Same thing as well. And what's in the soil, you know, the minerals in the soil also contribute to the characteristics of the wine as well.
Okay. Okay, so those are our tips on wine.
Yep.
Now we're going to go check out the...
Let's go check out the meat room.
The meat room. I was trying to look for the right word for it. Okay, let's go check out the meat room. So now we are in the meat room, and it's kind of hot in here.
Yeah, it's kind of hot right now, and it will cool down later.
Okay, so is this where you're supposed to like dry age the beef?
Yeah, this is where we do all our food storage, okay, for our beef, right? As you can see here, an amazing meat locker, and inside here is temperature controlled and humidity controlled.
Okay.
These are very important things. We do both types of aging, wet and dry aging here. The difference is, number one, is wet aging is inside a vacuum bag, so it keeps the meat wet, the key word there. And you can wet age between 1 and 3 to 4 days. After that, you know, it can turn a little bit malansat and a little bit funky, so 3 to 4 days is the maximum of that. Okay, because there's no protection. Now, dry aging is what we do in here, which I'll show you after, is where you expose the beef to the correct temperature and the correct humidity. And the enzymes build a crust on the beef, okay? And what happens is like a metamorphosis, you know, like a caterpillar. Yeah. So what happens with the beef is the beef starts to break down and the moisture leaves. So the moisture leaves the beef. We have salt blocks in the fridge, so the salt pulls out the moisture. Okay. And the benefit of that is it intensifies the flavor of the beef. Okay. Then the enzymes make a crust. Okay. And what happens there is that then starts to break down the collagen, the enzymes naturally, and that's what makes the beef extra tender. Okay. So dry aged beef, extra flavor, extra tender.
And how long can you go in the aging process for dry?
Okay, dry aging, people do 7, 14, 21. We do 45 days.
45 is the maximum, or?
No.
You can go much longer? You can go years?
You can do, I don't know about years. Okay, that's going to be a really smelly, tender beef. However, no, I've done 120 days.
Really?
And it was excellent. And some people do it longer, but for me, the 45 days and extreme is 90 days in restaurants these days as well.
And so the longer you age it, the more it shrinks because it's losing its moisture, right?
That's why it's a premium price, because you just use the yield, it just disappears. So we can start with here. So here we have, so you're familiar with ribeye, right?
Yes.
Everybody loves ribeye in the Philippines. What's your favorite cut?
What is my favorite cut of ribeye?
No, steak. So, Philippines, everybody loves ribeye. Yeah. They love the fat, they love the flavor. You know, they like the end bit to be cut off and toasted, you know, tostado, I think it's called. But not all ribeyes are the same. Ribeye is the cut. Here we serve 3 types of ribeye, okay? So we'll start with our regular one, which is US Prime Angus. Now this is already usually the best steak in a restaurant. A Prime Angus one. It's like 13% of the Angus cattle selected. That's our entry level. We then have a 40.
So in terms of like, because there's different gradings of beef from different countries, right? So when you say prime in the US, that's supposed to be like the creme de la creme of beef cuts, right? And then?
We so you have prime, choice, and select. Okay, in the States. Okay, in Australia they have a grading system of stars. Okay. In Japan, they have a grading system with numbers and letters.
Okay, so that's why it's different. And then you have your grade 1 to...
Right, 1 to 5 or 1 to 12.
Okay.
Depending on the prefecture.
And then after that, they graduate.
And then, yes, that's right, they do, if they do good. Okay, so we have the wet age from the US, which is the prime steak, Prime Angus, black cattle. Then we have a 45-day dry age ribeye, okay, which is incredible. It's our bestseller. And then here we have the creme de la creme, the Rolls Royce. Matsusaka. Okay. Matsusaka is the top of the top 3 steaks in Japan. Okay. It is 1 in 50 cows are selected for the breed.
Wow.
And the cow has an amazing life.
Okay. Yeah, because they just keep feeding. What are they fed?
They're fed barley and wheat. Okay. They're massaged with sake. They're walked every day. And
you say they're spit on? Like...
Yeah, they spit the sake and then they massage them every day. Yeah. Very nice lifestyle. And then as you can see, the difference in the marbling here, what makes Matsusaka so great for the Japanese and for many of our customers is the fat to meat ratio, but it's good fat.
So it's marbled. Yeah. And is there like a grading system for marbling?
Yeah, A1 to A5, and then MB, which is marbling, 1 to 12.
Okay.
This is MV12A5, which is the top.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Everything here is flown in weekly, so we have fresh meat, never frozen.
So you get like bigger carcasses, which you have to use up in what, a week?
No, it depends on the process. So if it's red,
Because this is only chilled, right? This is not.
Yeah. So no, a good piece of meat should be able to last 7 to 10 days.
Okay.
Good quality.
And then
the right
what happens after like 7 to 10 days?
Barbecue.
Okay, so that you don't waste it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go.
All right. So now we're gonna check out the kitchen and we're gonna give you different tips on how to cook a good steak.
Okay, let's go.